Okay, some function exercises. Right, good one for end of semester grades here. Okay, you've taken 4 exams so far. You've scored 82, 75, 85 and 93. Now I know that's a total of 335. I put it in my calculator, okay? So far you've got 335 points, okay? Now, one more exam to take, the final, okay? So you've got to take one more, which I think later down here they're going to call S, okay? Just the score for your final grade, okay? So can you notice you're going to add that to this, okay? Now you've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? You've done 4 tests so far. You're going to do another one, and of course, hopefully you'll know the averages, okay? If you take 5 tests, you add them all up and divide by 5. So far, I've only taken 4 tests, but if I add the 5th one, which is S, that's an S for score, and divide by the number 5, I will get the average, okay? So, input and output, well, can you see that the input then is going to be this score on your 5th test, the output is going to be your total average score for the semester, okay? I'm going to jump ahead here and write this then, watch. Your average is going to equal, okay, remember this here, the 335, was the score for the first 4 total. When you add the 5th, which we'll call S, we don't know what it is yet, okay, then you divide by 5, because you've done 5 tests, you'll get the average. So that really is an equation I can use, okay? I know verbally I've said take the 335 you've got already, let's add this 5th test, and then divide by 5 to get your average. Okay, I've filled in the table, some of the table already, okay? If I put 100 into here, so again, I've got 335 already, I add 100, that'll be 435 points, divide by 5, the 5 test, it'll give me an average of 87. Now, I've filled some in already, I've stuck an extra one on the bottom, okay, so let's get the calculator up and have a look at it. So, remember, I've already got, let's cancel that, 335 points. If I have the final score, which is the dismal 10, so if I add another 10, that'll equal 345. When I divide by 5 to get the average, right, I'm going to write that in now, that is 69, okay? That's how I got all those 5 scores. Now, a good way to do this is to actually graph it, of course. But let's have a quick look at this. Oh. Why does it define a function that? Okay, look at this down here. Explain how it defines a function. Why is that a function? Now remember from the previous video, you can only have one unique answer for the input. Okay, so 100 produces an 87. Okay, yeah, it's not producing 87 and 89, is it? Okay, all of these are different answers for the different inputs. Okay, so it's a function I can see. Okay, but let's look. Graphic is always nice. Remember the vertical line test? Okay, so that's always a nice look, but let's have a look. Okay, so here we go. I have put the points on this table. Okay, remember when I scored 100 on the last one, I got, what did I get? I got 87, okay? So I plotted it right there, 87, just over 85, 86, 87, okay? When I got my dismal 10, I got 69, okay? Let's have a look at this. Here's 10 down here. I get an arrow. If I go up just below 70, 69, okay? Right. Now, watch this. This is a straight line graph, okay? Let's put that on. So, from here, nice straight line. Does it go through all the nice points? Beautifully. Okay, yes, it goes nice. Look at that, eh? Straight through all those points, okay? That's a nice straight line graph, okay? So, it represents a function, vertical line test, only going to pass it in one place. Right, so it is a function. Now then, here's some questions at the bottom here. Use the graph to estimate what your final average will be if you score 95 on exam 5. Well, this is great now. Here we go. Here's 95 right here, okay? If I read up and then over, looks like it's going to be about 86 maybe, yeah? Is that right? So that point there. So I'll get about an 86 average if I score 95. Now that's not, I'm using no algebra there, I'm just using my graph. Hopefully if I put that 95 into the equation, should we try it? Okay, let's see if we get 86 and put 95 into this. Okay, So, calculator. I've already got 335. I've just scored 95. Now divide by 5 to get the average. It's 86. Is 86? Yes. Okay. So algebraically matches the graph. Okay. Now, O is the harder one. Use the graph to estimate what score you... Oh no, it's okay to read from a graph. Algebraically this is going to be harder, but let's just have a look at this last question. Using the graph, not algebra. Okay, what will I need on exam 5 to get an average of 85 total? So again, this time I'm reading the y-axis. Here's my 85. Read along. All the way over here. It's about 90, doesn't it? So I need to get 90. Okay, is that right? To get an average of 85. Okay, sounds bad. We've done the graph, we can use it now. Let's look at the slide. Okay, so this is just you reading the final average. Okay, so here we go. The final average is a function of the score on exam 5, because all we're dealing with is what's exam 5, that's my input, so what's the answer is the total average. Okay, so the average depends on your score 5, so it is a function of that score 5. Okay, so again, score 5 is the input, the output is the average, the final answer. So what have I done? What did I do to obtain the final average for any score? I added exam 5, the score on it, to the 335 I already have, and divided by 5 to get the average. And I've already kind of created this. I created it early because I was thinking, well, that's what I'm doing in my head. I've got 335 already. If I add the new score, I don't know what it is yet, okay, then divide by 5, that's 5 tests divided by 5 will give me the average, okay? Now, so I'm going to do the harder now. So again, remember, if let's just get the pen back up. If I know my average score is 75, I'll put it right there, okay? So let's just do that, okay? Let's have a look at that one. Calculator. So 335. If I then get a 75 and divide it by 5, I will get 82, okay? I'll get 82. That's nicely calculated. But always remember these are the hard ones. I've mentioned this from chapter 2. When you know the input, it's quite easy to find the output. Just put it into the equation. But if you know the output, okay, finding the input is harder. So here's what this is right now. Look at this one down here. Okay, let's bring it up. So if I know my average is 87, or at least I want to get an 87, what do I need on exam 5? Right, okay, so here we go. I know the average is 87, or I want 87, sorry. What do I need to get here? What does my final score need to be? Right, here's the algebra, folks. Okay, remember what we did in previous sections? Okay, I need to get to that S by itself. How do I get rid of this 5 on the bottom? It's being divided by 5 right now. Okay, I need to get rid of this 5. I also need to get rid of this 335. But the first thing I need to get rid of is this 5 on the bottom. I can't just take away 335 because it's a positive 335. It's kind of tangled up with everything. It's got this 5 on the bottom. It's kind of a bit of a mess at the moment. Let's get rid of this 5. I'm being divided by 5 right now. So if I multiply by 5, okay, look at that. Now I don't actually multiply everything by 5. What I've done is, great, I've now cancelled that. All right, the denominator's gone. It's a denominator. I had a 5 on the bottom. I put a 5 on the top. I cancelled it. But don't forget to put a 5 on the left-hand side as well. Okay? Right, calculator. What's 5 times 87? I need to know that on the left. Right, great. That's 435. That still equals the 335 and the final score, the S. Remember, that's an S, not a 5. Let's make it look like an S, okay? There we go. What do I need to do now? I need to take away 335. Okay, it's gone from there. Take it away from there. Wow, looks like I need the 100. Maybe that's on the graph already. Maybe I've already done this one. It looks like I need to get 100. Okay, yeah, I need my final score. Can you see that? That's 100. Okay, let's go back to that graph thing. Was that what it was? 100, I needed, yes, I needed the 87. Okay, remember, I forgot about that. There it is. Okay, it's already there. But can you see how I had to work it out? Okay, so it's complicated. Knowing the output, trying to find the input is not as easy. Okay, So I'm going to hold it there, then I'm going to move on to the next slide in the next video. Okay?